vicious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Good evening. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. We've got a game to talk about today that wasn't a derby, that isn't a derby, but who cares? We won a 2-0 victory away at Hillsborough. I've lost my voice. Ben's lost his voice. It's all gone fun. Danny will be with us in a moment, very momentarily. He's had like many of you, I'm sure, he's had a very long day. And he'll be with us very, very shortly. But so far, we have Michael and Benjamin with us. Hello, boys.
Hello.
Ben, has your voice improved? When I spoke to you earlier, you were complaining.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
It hasn't.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't at all.
Oh, fantastic. John S. is with us. Can't help but thinking that maybe a bit intoxicated. What a great day. Scott Grundy's with us. Thank you for joining us, Scott, John Hinchcliffe, J-Boy, Stephen Senior, Bazza, Lynn McGarry, all join us, and Donna, all join us, and there's loads of you joining us through YouTube. As you said, for him, school's going to be fun tomorrow. School and work is going to be fun for a lot of people tomorrow. So, yeah, it's difficult to know where to start on this one tomorrow, so we start with performance, mate. Let's start with performance. There's team news we need to cover really at the start in a bit, but we got a bit lucky. Did we get lucky?
I don't know, did we? I don't think so. Can I just say that from the last podcast, my wife has told me off for swinging about on this chair, but it's so easy to look smug. Swinging about on a chair, isn't it, eh? Why did we get lucky, Matt? I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm just saying that Pigs played fairly well.
Yeah, we did.
Let's give the due briefly.
If we are looking at it from a neutral, I think we probably did not get lucky, but probably, yeah, we didn't deserve to win. I don't think.
Well, what I would say is that we're top of the league for a reason, right? And we're top of the league not because we play particularly or we play well every single game. It's when we're not playing well, we grind out results. And that's why we're top by 9 points. Mind the gap.
More than 9 points to some of the certain teams.
Well, exactly. Yeah, no, listen, I don't think we got lucky. No, I don't. I genuinely don't. I think we defensively we were solid. Maybe, possibly, we would have conceded had they got a striker on pitch. But, that's their problem, isn't it? No, it's not ours. So, they didn't take the chances, and they can't moan about that. I mean, we spent all last season creating loads and loads of chances, not taking them. We got what we deserved. We got relegated. They've done the same today. They got what they deserved. They got beat.
Yeah,
that's football.
It is.
So everybody were telling me all last season. So
yeah, and that's the thing, Ben, isn't it? That I got a message from Mick Nuttall, who's a Wednesday fan, and he basically said that's why we're top and that's why they're eighth, because we know how to stay in the game.
100%. And I did watch it back on Sky. I didn't watch the whole game, but they said that that's what we're so good at, is staying in games and then punishing with set pieces, which is true to an extent. We're good at staying in games, and that's obviously why we're top. But I didn't like the fact that they said we punish off set pieces, because I don't remember scoring a lot of set pieces the whole year. I don't. You can.
No, we've got like 19 or something like that, so it's crazy.
Really?
We've got that many.
Oh.
I think this is on Sky. It's something like 19.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I'm going
to
bring
Danny.
60, though. That's true. Danny Ogden Glaze is with us. Danny, how are you?
Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
Oh, we're very good this evening. We are very good. On a scale of 1 to very drunk, how drunk are we?
I'd say about a 7.
7's a good number. I feel like 7's the sweet spot.
Yeah, definitely. I've had a few Jaeger bombs at Kimmy Park, I will admit. Possibility of a Bucks fizz later on. But I mean, we've beaten Wednesday 2-0. When else can you drink other than beating Wednesday? You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Exactly. My mum's sorry for my outburst, but I've got a Mackie, so I'm all right.
Brilliant. So let's go through some comments. Where are we? Thomas Bauer, Shiner champions, 2 shots on goals and 2 goals. That's all that matters. Sean Oliver, we weren't solid defensively at all. Mick could have been 3-0 at half time if they had about him. Yeah, I suppose it's certainly first half. For me, I don't think any of their first half chances were clear cut. I mean, the Mendes Lang one in the second half, yes, that's fine that he should have scored that. But in the first half, Ben, for me, yeah, they are. Yes, they were the better team for me in the first half, but they never threatened us really. They never threatened the goal, did they?
Mendes Lang was the only player that kind of threatened us on that wing a little bit. They had that goal which was disallowed. Apart from that, they were the better team without having. I didn't feel like we were going to concede. If that, do you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel any danger from them attacking. So yeah, they were the better team, but they weren't threatening for goals. If that makes sense. I don't think anyway.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And that Mendes Lang one in the second half. Oh my god, I could have buried it. Mick could have probably buried it. To be fair.
Yeah.
I think Danny's state could have buried it. To be honest with you.
Yeah, probably.
I'm carrying less weight than Mendes Lang and all.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
He's a big lad.
He is a big lad.
Are we still talking about Mendes Lang or me?
Well, I think how good he could be if he were fit.
Yeah, true.
Well, yeah, he'll get there. Probably. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? Going back to the start, let's go back to the lineup, Danny. 11 o'clock, the lineup gets picked up, and Freddie's name's on the team sheet. That took me by surprise. I think it took all Rotherham fans by surprise. It was strange seeing his name back at the starting 11.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. I mean, I was fully expecting KO to be starting. But I suppose everyone's apprehension about Freddie starting was proven very wrong in the second half when he netted our first goal, which weirdly is like the exact opposite of the last time at Hillsborough, because now it's Ladipo Smith, and last time it was a Smith Ladipo. But I think the way Freddie played during the game and his contribution towards how we were pressing really showed he's committed to the team more than we thought he was. You know, because he were chasing after the ball. He was really pressing the ball. He wasn't really standing off like Freddie normally does. But yeah, I can understand the apprehension behind Freddie starting, but he sort of proved us wrong a little bit in the second half, at least. I mean, in the first half, it was. I hate to admit it, but Wednesday were the better side in the first half, and in the second half, we sort of had the kick up the backside that we needed. I think Paul Warren basically said to us, we're playing like underdogs, which really made us go, you know, we need to sort of sense out. And after that, we sort of cracked on, and the second half was ours, really.
Yeah, well, I got a comment here from John S. A neutral posted one of the fan videos, and the first half said he may not post the video because nothing happened, nothing dangerous. And that, for me, that summed up the first half. I never felt threatened by him at all. And John Morrell, as always, with a good point. Managers die by their decisions today. Your manager starting Freddie was played a blinder. The gamble worked. And obviously, Mick and Ben will know this. Nobody else did it. I didn't put it on social media, but I was very unhappy about Freddie starting. I didn't really get it. I thought it was a massive risk to take in a game we want to win. I can understand starting 20 minutes end, get some game time in the legs. But how wrong was I? So wrong. I thought both Freddie and Smith were only 2 players that, yes, they fed off scraps, but for the full 90 minutes, they did the jobs. Both of them did their jobs for the full 90 minutes. Well, Freddie came off a little bit early, didn't he? But yeah, it deserves a lot of credit, Freddie, and it would have been very easy for Freddie to just keep his head down and play the way he had played in the past couple of games he'd come on. But he deserves so much credit, not just for the goal. I think he had a good game as well. Ben?
Yeah, I think he played really well. Obviously, I criticised him in the past, but I thought he worked hard for Freddie. I think there was a couple of things where, obviously, you know, he could have done better, obviously. But I don't know if you saw it. I didn't see it at the time, obviously, because I wasn't looking at the pitch when we scored. But he scores, and then he kind of cups his ears
Yeah.
to our fans, which is kind of deserved, I guess.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, gotta love that.
Yeah. Donald London. It was meant to be Nevaeh Ladapo short today, and no idea was coming on. Brilliant. Yeah. So let's move on to the goal, Mick, before we talk about all these thousands and millions of other things we've got to talk about. The first one was the goal, and it was almost a carbon copy of the goal at Bolton earlier in the season, which Wiles ended up scoring from. And we get a lot of praise for our set pieces, and I think a lot of people just assume either just pop ball into the middle of the box and Woody smashes it in. It's not like that. Our set pieces are good. They are clever. They're different. I know we're just saying it's the same as the other one, but I was really happy, really proud of that set piece again.
Well worked. It's a well worked corner, that one, isn't it? And they don't use it very often, but when they do, well, they've used it twice and 2 goals, haven't they? So yeah, I struggle a bit with this set piece business. You know, we're like, it's just another variation on a big, strong physical side, isn't it? You know what I mean? That doesn't really have any ideas. I don't know whether I'm a bit sort of paranoid about it, but it always feels like a criticism. You know, they scored from another set piece. 19 set pieces they scored from this. Well, that's fine, but we scored nearly 60 goals. If you look at the percentage of goals we scored from set pieces, I can't see it being much different from anybody else's, quite frankly. But, you know, well, let's forget about the other 50 odd, and we'll just talk about 19 that they scored from battering the way through somebody's defence. It's well worked. Great delivery from Jordi Pirlo. And Freddie, listen, Freddie's done what Freddie does. You know, he's been in the right place, right time, stuck in it back at net. And
I watched it back, and it's a good finish. Like, it comes off his knee, but it's a good finish. It's a hard finish. It looks like a hard finish. Anyway.
Yeah. Absolutely. David Crew is going to interrupt us and ask you, what is Daniel Douglas eating? He had Sunday dinner in pub.
Right. I admit, I had a carvery in Kimmy Park, which was technically my lunch. But because on the way home, my mum said, fancy a McDonald's. So it's like, yeah, why not? So I went to McDonald's.
What you got? Did you have pork on your Sunday dinner like I did?
I did. I had turkey and pork. I mean, we all agreed in the pub, like, you have to have pork after beating Sheffield Wednesday. You know, you have to devour pork after beating Wednesday 2-0. But yeah, for the Macca's, I've gone for the new chicken Big Mac just to see what it's like. And I don't know. I haven't tried the burger yet.
We're going to get first taste.
Do you want me to try the burger on camera live right now?
I do. I am intrigued on the chicken.
Right.
So
right, here we go.
This is not what Mick signed up for.
New York Talk exclusive. Right, here we
go. I knew this episode was going to be out there, but I'm happy to took this turn.
Well, we're incredibly professional, aren't we, on this podcast? Anybody tuning in for the first time, this is not usually what happens. I mean, we usually, to be fair, we are usually discussing a victory, a win, but
not food.
I mean, it's not bad. It's a bit like a less crispy version of a Chicken Legend, with a bit more like chicken to it.
What would you get out of 10?
I give it a 6, maybe out of 10. 6 out of 10. I mean, if you're hungry and you're a little bit drunk like I am, it's a good, like, stock-up meal. You know what I mean? But if you fancy it after, I don't know, just like an evening meal, I'd go for a regular Big Mac. But if you've had a few beers, it's a perfect substitute. That's my 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Average. We'll give it an average out of 10.
Good. I like it. On the Freddie finish, Danny, I'll stick with you for the Freddie finish. How many times that's Freddie's thing, sneaking at the back post and just getting any part of his body on it, and that's what he does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he scored with his knee in the end, didn't he? But I mean, I will admit, I actually didn't see what part of his body it came off initially because I was too busy crowd surfing at the back of Hillsborough's away end. But yeah, it is a very stereotypical Freddie goal, and of course it's Freddie who scores at Hillsborough. I had one mate, Jordan Wilkinson, who is deeply regretting not putting a bet on Freddie to score first because he said he would do, but then decided against it. So Jordan, that's your fault for losing out on however many quid. But I don't know. It almost seems like this could be the kickstart to the rest of Freddie's season. You know, he's had the drama of the transfer request, and he's been a bit quiet. But now that he scored at Hillsborough, and, re-cemented himself as a Rotherham legend at Sheff Wednesday, it could be his kickstart to the season, and maybe he could crack on for the rest of the season now. And I hope that he does. But there is one person I want to give a shout out to, which is Nevaeh, who is one of my favourites. And I have to admit, for a lass who was into a football, who was 12 years old, she was involved with the limbs. Oh my God. She was virtually crowd surfing, bless her. It was exceptional. And when she found, because we all thought it was Chia who scored first, right? And as soon as she learned it were Freddie, she were off. She was going mental that it was Freddie who scored. But yeah, fair play to Freddie who scored. He loves the goal at Hillsborough, doesn't he? And yeah, your first goal, the man who set off the limbs at Hillsborough, the first game back at Hillsborough after lockdown, and of course it's Freddie. You know what I mean? Yeah. Of course it is. And like I said, very stereotypical Freddie finish off his knee. It's in. He's cupped his ear to the away fans because, of course, he has. And you have to give him credit, don't you? Brilliant stuff from Freddie. Yeah. If he's listening, which he probably isn't, but if he is, Freddie, fair play. You know what I mean? Fair play.
Yeah. I think he sort of deserves that as well. Because the goal.
I've received mozzarella dippers. Get in.
Because of last season, he didn't get that moment. Although it was an amazing goal and post match on Twitter and social media, it had seen the love. He didn't get that initial moment, and I think he's maybe deserved it this year. I've got a question. John S. I loved Freddie's face. Not all saying "I'm just doing a job, can I go?" He was happy, and yeah, that's what we want him to be. We want him to be happy. We want him to be here. Power Mad UK, loads of Piggy fans moaning they had players out, but we still won, so be reeked. The other thing we haven't talked about yet, Mick, is can we just talk about, this is from J-Boy, can we talk about how much Ollie Rathbone changed the game? That was the halftime change. Jimmy Lindsay came off for Ollie Rathbone, and Ollie Rathbone was just a sensation that second half.
Yeah, it was excellent. We talked about it at half time. The issue in the first half, from our point of view, was that midfield. We were getting a little bit overrun in midfield, and I think what they planned to do was, this was in my head, and I don't know whether it's right. This is how I saw it. That Jamie Lindsay had kind of stuck with Barry Bannon as he did at New York Stadium, but that meant we were a man down in midfield, and it just wasn't working at all. As a consequence, Lindsay wasn't really in the game, and I think that's part of what Paul Warne's talking about when he said about giving them far too much respect. We did, much as all the laughing and joking that I've had about Barry Bannon. Yeah, he's a good player. He is a good player. There's no question about it. He's not good enough to put a man marking him. It takes away from our own performance then. And that's what happened, I think, in the first half, and that's why they were sort of on top, because we were essentially playing with 10 men almost, or 10 and a half men, because Lindsay was distracted for a lot of that time. Whereas when Ollie Rathbone came on, he weren't sticking to that script if he was even given it. So yeah, that's why. Yeah. That's why he had a better game, in my view. Yeah. Which is not worth out, really, isn't it? But we should mention the bad part one, but it's very brief part. But Donny mentions the pigs throwing stuff at Chio. Are they releasing a club statement? Nothing yet. Poor from Piggies, but
it's piggies. Unfortunately, what do you expect? Thankfully, on a positive, it seems like all the Rotherham fans have all behaved themselves. That's brilliant to see. Similar to the Donny game, although there were 2 incidents where we've had a local derby and everybody's just enjoying themselves.
Whoa,
I'm really chuffed to see that.
It's not a derby.
Sorry.
I was waiting for that.
Brilliant. Before we come on to Smithy, let's talk about our defensive record. Russ Bailey, our record is getting ridiculous. But 0 goals conceded in the first half of the season, only 5 conceded on the road altogether. First thing, they haven't scored in the league at home this season. Only their second home defeat of the season. And they put a little graphic on Sky, Ben, having watched it back, where our defensive record after this amount of games stands up against some of the greatest teams England's ever seen. The Leeds team from the 70s, that Mourinho's team with Chelsea. Yeah. Our defensive record stands up against them. I know it's a lower level. I'm not getting ahead of myself. But that's how good the record is in EFL history. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what did I see? Something about them conceding at home. What was it? Oh, they haven't conceded at home in how many games? It was a lot of games, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of games they haven't conceded at home.
They were 4 or 5 without conceding altogether.
And I was watching it on Sky, and it was like they were talking about both defenses, both defenses, both defenses and how good they are. But yeah, that record is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's actually funny because like people always think about good defense, and it's like, well, you got a good centre backs, but like starts from front, like pressing from front and all that. Even you, I think I can't remember who said it, but it was like last minute and we're pressing them, forcing them into a corner still, 90 plus something minute, and I think that plays a big part in it, to be honest, because teams just suffocate. But yeah, that is a crazy record. Ridiculous.
It is. Yeah. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. Josh Flesher had hundreds of notifications from Wednesday fans all through the week. Twitter must be down I'd say it must be down in Rotherham, but my Twitter's fine, so very strange. We should shout out to the RUFC for his Twitter shenanigans this afternoon after the game, post-game. They have been top draw. Absolutely top draw stuff.
I've got a bone to pick with him.
I thought you were already,
yeah. I love his little tweet about with the ratings. So mind the gap. I was going to use that. In the closing credits tonight.
Mind the gap. Sheffield Day.
Quality. And also the club's Twitter feed. I've had again social media team today played a blinder as well. Mighty Not Massive. One of my particular favourites. It's been a great day to be a Rotherham fan. It's been a great year so far to be a Rotherham fan. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Let's move on. We've got plenty to cover tonight, but let's move on to Michael Smith. Danny, 21st goal of the season, and it probably doesn't top the Morecambe goal, but it was still a superb finish.
In all honesty, I didn't know how he's finished it. Right,
no.
because granted, in the pub with a few pints, we've tried to analyse his goal, and again with Jordan Wilkinson, who plays for Parkgate Reserves and for Pewterport, we don't know how he's finished it. He's finished it from a standing start, right? The ball's come to him and he's just dinked it with his right foot, and somehow he's got the height and the velocity on it to beat Peacock Farrell, and I honestly don't know how he's done it. But it just goes to show how Smith is a very unique striker. How it almost sounds like a disservice to call him jack of all trades but a master of none. Like he's not really excelling in one field, but he's good at the rest of them. You know what I mean? And it's just a very Smith goal. You know, it was the goal that we needed at the right time. We needed that goal to finish the game off, and we did, because as soon as Smith scored, that entire stand opposite the away fans emptied. Yeah. We have never seen a stand empty as quickly in my life. It went from completely full to completely empty. It was hilarious. But Michael Smith, 21 goals for the season, best season as a striker. What more can you say? He has been exceptional this season, and he's managed to pull a goal or an assist or whatever out of the bag every single time. And today it was a goal that we needed. And in all honesty, I didn't see his celebration. You'll have to wait and see the vlog on Monday morning or Monday afternoon or whatever. But there is a moment in the vlog where people are crowd surfing. If you can bring the picture up on screen for the YouTube fans now, Matt, it'd be fantastic. But there is a moment where people are crowd surfing. We don't see Smith's celebration. It was just exceptional. And I mean, everybody released the pyros from the first goal, so we had no pyros whatsoever. But that second goal, my days, it's one of them quintessential Michael Smith goals where he's pulled it out of the bag, he's finished the game off, end of discussion, man of the match, done. Easy as that.
Yeah, he just like where I got my comment. Yes, John Bieber says Mudge has been poor by his own standards last few games, but he's still changed them. And I think that's more because defenders are on him, Ben. I don't think he's necessarily poor. I just think defenders have got tighter.
No, I think defenders are just fouling him. I think
that's what I mean. Yeah.
I think if Smith's shirt every time, if I had £1 for every time Smith's shirt was ripped, I could buy Rob them. Like, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
You have £3 then.
It's ridiculous. Like, you threw me off there, mate. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the finish is ridiculous. For a man of his size to have that amount of body control is absurd. It's irreplaceable in my opinion, and man of the match. And I don't think his standards are dropping. I think he's such a good player that we expect him to do so much in the game that when he does a good job, if Freddie did what he did, we'd be overpraising him. Or if Greg did what he did, or Coyote did what he did, you know what I mean? I think it's because it's Smith and we're so used to him playing so well. I think we just kind of take it for granted almost. But I don't think his standards have lowered that much. I just think we're taking it for granted how good he is.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We should give a shout out during the goal, Mick. Icky, getting a lovely assist. Paul Ward mentioned that he thought the other day that he thought Michael Hickley had been the best player in League One in January, but defenders don't get the credit, which is right. No. Defensively didn't put a foot wrong again, and also again if you put him in the opposition's box, it'll cause him problems. He's a really, really good footballer. Forget his defensive stuff. He's just a good footballer.
He's got a lovely pair of feet, and he really can control that ball and pick out a pass and some lovely touches as well. He's growing and growing and growing now into a Richard Wood for me. And hopefully by the time Woody retires in 10 years' time, Icky should just about be ready to take over. But he's starting to grow into a proper leader. But like you said, he's got more in his locker than Woody has. He just hasn't got the experience at the moment. And he's certainly got the potential to be a better player. I mean, that's a big call. It's a big call. But he's got more. He's got more skill. He's got more ability on the ball. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's been immense. He's been absolutely immense. But they all have back there. A lot of them have. Wes Harding again. I'm sorry. I know I go on about him. I know I'm a bit of a fanboy, but I thought he was absolutely outstanding again today. Had a really, really good game. You know, he's just solid. He's absolutely solid as a rock. So now, there you go. Icky, top man, future captain.
Well, yeah, I think that's fair. A couple of people, and I think it's important we do give these shout-outs as and when they are needed. Jan Bieber, the ref didn't make one single controversial decision today. Secondly, he let the game flow.
I have one objection to that.
Go on.
There was a challenge in the second half where Bannon comes in and wipes Ollie Rathbone out, which should have been a free kick, yellow card minimum, but he lets the game carry on.
Yeah.
Now, from where we were, in the away, and we could clearly see his tucky legs and not the ball, right? Which should have been a yellow card, but he let the game carry on, which I suppose you could say ended up biting Wednesday in the arse because they ended up conceding a few minutes later. But at the time, it's one of them where it's like, you've not given that against us, but you've given a couple soft ones. It's like, the scales of justice. But
He went all right. I think the second time we mentioned the second time we had him at Cheltenham, and he likes to let the game flow, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
But I also think you're right. The cost of letting the game flow means you're going to be inconsistent at times.
Yeah,
I think you're right about that.
Like I say, he were all right. I mean, he's not had like a calamitous game or anything like that. But it's one of them where it's like it's here or there. He's done all right for a game. Letting it flow, letting the game carry on. But it's just one of them where it's like we've given a soft one against them, but you've not given it against us. But overall, I would say. He has been one of the better referees we've had this season. Again, in the game, here or there, but it's not like he's gone, that's not a penalty, but that was a soft one and we'll give the penalty. It's one of them for referees where you can critique them on little decisions, but if they're consistently bad, like the referee that we had against Accrington, they are quite obviously out of the depth. But with this one, it's like we can see what you're trying to do in hindsight, but at the time, it's a bit of a temper flare. But no, to be fair, overall, I have to admit to the referee, he has done very well today. Because it was a derby and tempers were high, and in all honesty, Wednesday lost the head in the last 20 minutes. Like there was a foul on Vickers, there was a foul on Chio. There are a few naughty challenges which he did pull them up for, but early in the game he didn't. So it's like we can sort of see where you're coming from, but it's the away fans who want them given straight away, But overall, I think the referee's done okay, which is a rarity this season. It's a rarity, for us to say, you know what, mate, you've done all right. You know what I mean? That's a rarity. But yeah, I'd say. If I had to give a rating out of 5, I'd say probably a 3.5 out of 5 for the referee.
You're on your ratings tonight, are you?
Yeah, 3 out of 5 for the referee. Not too bad. Could do better, which everybody can. But 3 out of 5, not bad.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So last time when we beat Wednesday, we had a couple of clips from the game itself. We put them together into video. We haven't been able to do that just off the completion yet. But Russ Vernon, who does some work for the Comedy Live, did his own commentary, and he has kindly provided us with his commentary. So let's all a couple of minutes.
This is what he messaged me about. Come on, Russ, come on.
So here's the goals as from Russ.
That's with the corner, and the Dapper was scored. Freddie Dapper was scored for Rotherham United. And the league leaders lead at Hillsborough. The Dapper has put the Millers into the lead at Hillsborough. Second star since he handed in the transfer request, and he has scored the goal for the Millers today. Again, Rotherham United still leading by a goal as soon as the ball comes in. There's a penalty. Victory Equa. Smith! Michael Smith has made it 2-0 for Rotherham United. Oh my word, what a fantastic goal from Michael Smith. Michael Equa with the touch from the free kick. And he fires it home.
Yes, there you go. And thank you very much for that, Russ. We really appreciate you sending that to us. And what made this first goal even sweeter, Cheryl Stone points out very rightly. So did the ball go out for the corner that led to the first goal?
Yes, it did.
No, Cheryl, it didn't. And that's brilliant, isn't it? Oh, just add that little bit of sweetness to the already beautiful little cake that was made this afternoon. Quality. Brilliant. Let's go and give some praise to about lots of other people. Ben, let's start with Josh Vickers. He had an interesting game. He didn't make any mistakes. I think that's the first point of calling. Is the keeper. That's
Well,
important. Go on.
I mean, he shanked it a couple of times.
Oh yeah, I'm going to let him off his kick. Today we're going to let that slide.
You might, Ben's not.
I don't know why I would. I know because it's an essential part. I think, I think against a better team that could be a big problem. I think if he goes to the championship, he's going to need to sort that out because they'll make us pay. Teams will make us pay. But yeah, I mean, he made a good couple of saves. Obviously, the one-on-one from it. Oh God. Excuse me.
Nice.
Ben, I'm meant to be the drunk one, but yet you're the one burping. I'm just saying.
Excuse me. The Mendes line one-on-one was a horrible one-on-one. Still someone has to make the save though. Made a good save from I think it was Bannon's free kick.
The free kick, yeah.
Yeah, he made a couple good saves. So why not get the clean sheet? And that's all that matters.
Yeah. Mick, you were less than. I don't know what. I'm going to let you just tell us what you thought of Vickers because I was surprised when we were talking about after the game. You weren't more glowing in your praise.
Yeah, I thought he had a good game. He had a couple of saves to make, which he made. I hesitate to say they were routine saves, but they weren't. They weren't worldies, were they? They were just good saves. But pretty much the rest of the time, he was as he has been for the last 6 games, a bit of a spectator. They did have a couple of chances, like you said, the one-on-one, and then a couple of shots on goal in the first half, which essentially all they had to do was fall on. Listen, I'm not being critical of him. He's a cracking keeper. He is a cracking goalkeeper. And as we've said many times, we're very, very lucky to have him and Victor as well. And you can't choose between them. So it's not a criticism of him at all. He did what he had to do today, and he did it well. With the exception, as Ben said, if you're being hypercritical, he shanked a couple out of play from a goal kick, but that happens regularly from just about every keeper in every level, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So no,
it doesn't.
All right. All right. It doesn't.
It doesn't happen with you're handsome.
Victor's kicking is better, but Victor's kicking is more consistent. But Victor has got a mistake or two in him, whereas Vickers may well have. We just haven't seen it yet, have we? But the two brilliant keepers. Let's not mess around. They have two outstanding keepers. Donna mentioned Donald London. Vickers was exceptional. Was always exceptional. Sorry. I agree. John S. with another comment. If that pitch wasn't like a bog, it may have been a very different game. Danny, how bad was that? I know we expect bad pitches at Wednesday, but that were awful.
One of the worst pitches I've ever seen, in all honesty. I mean, we were still travelling on the coach when we saw the state of the pitch from the club Twitter, and it's like, really? I've seen better pitches played at, Ringer Bells against Cock and Fosters or whatever they're called. But yeah, it's almost as if the rain has weirdly played into our favour, because there was that chance with Mendes line going on against Vickers one-on-one. It could have easily equalised, but he's fluffed it. And every single person who stood around me says it's a pitch that's done that. It's bubbled up weirdly for him. He's missed it, and Vickers has easily saved it. And it almost seems like one of them things where Wednesday have shot themselves in the foot by not looking after the pitch adequately. I mean, what more can you say? I mean, Rotherham have got one of the best pitches in the EFL. Wednesday, today, have probably got one of the worst. And it's played into our favour. Got 3 points. Done. Easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah, I had a Wednesday fan tell me that the pitch wasn't like that last week. Now I've been to Hillsborough quite a few times watching Rotherham, and yes, I agree it was one of the worst I've been today. But that's not far off where I expected it to be honest with you. Just terrible. The real idiot a few years ago. No. Bless him. Jan Bieber, this team is writing history. It is no longer up for debate. This is the best team we've had since the 60s. We're not far from having those conversations. Let's talk about where this leaves us in terms of the competition. We are now 11 points clear of third place with a game in hand, and we played before them. So if we win Friday, we could be 14 points clear, having played the same amount of games. Ifs and buts. That leaves us 9 points clear of Wigan, but they have 3 games in hand. Ben, we mentioned this in the last episode, and it's not going to go ground, but we're just proving again that we just play like a team that looks like we're going to go up, look like we'll look comfortably.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't play the best today, and we won 2-0. So, and I don't see. I haven't played the. Obviously, I don't watch the games. Obviously, I don't watch every single game, so I can't. But I personally haven't seen a team that's near us or challenging us. It's going to be interesting on Friday, I think it is, Wigan. It's going to be a very interesting game. That kind of decides the title, in my opinion. Not to put too much pressure on it. But yeah, I think that kind of whoever wins that. No, I think if we win, I think we'll almost clinch the title. But I think if they win, they haven't clinched the title. Yeah, it's on. Yeah. So yeah, I think it'll be a very interesting game. But like I said, we're not playing well, and we're still winning games. So, and that's what champions do, as proven every single year by champions.
Yeah. Yeah, and as pointed out by many people, Nick, it's attack win your games, defence wins your titles, and our defence is ridiculous.
100%.
Yeah, it is. And as Ben pointed out earlier on, that defence starts with Michael Smith and Freddie Ladapo or whoever's partnering Smithy up there. And it's outstanding. And I agree that you look back at that 80-81 side that won the title, you know, with Ronnie and Tony Towner and the likes, and the quality that we've got in this squad, the quality at the moment, it's still a potential for a lot of them. But then I guess when you look back, all those years, very few of the players in that team, that 80-81 team, went on to achieve anything else after that, potential-wise. You know, in terms of going on to bigger and better things. I know Jerry Forrest went off to Southampton, and there were a couple that sort of went on. But you always feel with this squad that we've got here, from goalkeeper right through to the front, that each and every one of them has got the potential to play at a much higher level consistently. You know what I mean? And go places. So there is a strong argument to say that this is a better squad. I feel it's probably in a better place. I think it's better, and this is a big call, I know, but I think it's better managed now. A lot of that being just simply because of the passage of time and the way things have developed and improved over the years. But I look at this management team that we've got, and I would not, under any circumstances, swap any of them for anybody else in football. I genuinely wouldn't. You know, I genuinely wouldn't, because they clearly know what they're doing, the work that they've done with this squad and the way that they've developed players, bringing players through, improving them to be the best that they could possibly be. I don't think there's anybody else. I'm sure there will be somewhere, but for me,
it kind of reminds you. Obviously, this is a ball call. I'm not going to say we're going to the Premier League, but it kind of reminds you of what Wilder did with United. They kept everything very, very, what's the word? You know, they didn't hire people from all over the world type of thing. Obviously, I know the situation they're in now with all these owners and that, but I'm talking before that when they were in League One and Championship, it was Wilder, and he took a bunch of League One players.
They were League One players.
They were League One players. Some of them are still in Premier. Billy Sharp still scoring in Premier League. So
Championship.
It kind of, Championship. It kind of reminds you a little bit of that, or reminds me a little bit of that. I'm not saying we're going to the Premier League, but you never know.
Well, yeah, I think the only difference is.
Go on. I was just saying. I just said I don't think we're going to the Premier League, but I mean, every time we're in Championship, I said if we have a goal scorer, we're in playoffs. So,
yeah, it's crazy. We've got a couple of things. Jan Bieber is agreeing with Mick, which is surprising. I get your surprise. And Donna feels it's weird without a Mick rant. Mick, is there anything that bothered you today? The exit getting out of Hillsborough, that were horrible, as it always is.
No, not really. Not really. Thought ref had a good game. I thought I think Darren Drydesdale is a good referee, so I can't rant about that. No, I'm not ranting today. I'm smug today. I am smug. Yeah, I'm in the pitch. You talked about the pitch. If you want me to rant about that was embarrassing. I mean, we did notice before the game that Georgie Kelly and Talaji Bola were doing some running up and down the touchline, some sort of fitness test. And when Bola ran towards the halfway line, it was literally like he was running on the beach. He left his footprints in the pitch. You could see his footprints all the way up and all the way down, and they didn't go. You know, this is supposed to be an elite sporting playing surface, and it's literally a field. But like you said, it's always been like that.
It wasn't literally a field. If it was a field, that'd be better.
Well, suppose,
exactly.
Yeah.
I've played on better pitches. Like, oh dear.
But it's always been like that down there, hasn't it? You know, for whatever the reason. But yeah.
I would like to point out that Herringthorpe playing fields are better than the pitch that Wednesday had today. Herringthorpe Fields with all the dog mess that's everywhere on Herringthorpe Fields and the slope that's at least 75 degrees. It was better than what Wednesday's pitch was today. Oh my days! Honestly, Ben Wiles might have gone for a mud bath and we wouldn't have noticed the difference.
Yeah.
You know, dear me.
Yeah. Jan Bieber again.
What did you say? What did you say, Mum?
Who ended up in a great big puddle?
My mum's just asked who was it who ended up in a great big puddle, and I think it was Ben Wiles, wasn't it? In the first half, he had one challenge where he got completely cleaned out and just went splash. Yeah. It's like, man, you might as well go to St Anne's Leisure Centre. You know what I mean? With the amount of splash that he had, like, oh dear.
Yeah, Jan Bieber again. They're getting ahead of us. So, Liam, that was the biggest question when we still promotion. Dare we dream of actually being a solid championship club? Yeah, we can dream, can't we? Mick, do you want to rant about the fact that they ran out of beer at half time? Donna wants to know they ran out of beer and food at half time.
Oh yeah, they did.
Dan, do you want to take over the ranting for this one?
Oh, I was surprised. Because obviously we had beers at Kimmy Park before we travelled out, and it's like, right, we can have a nice beer when we get to the ground at half time, you know, when everything's calmed down a little bit. Got to the bar, and it's like, we've run out. Really? Like, I hate it when this happens at away grounds. Like, if they're not serving alcohol, all right, fair enough, you know, with crew, because of other instances, they weren't serving alcohol. But to say, oh, we've run out, it's like, that's your own fault. You know what I mean? That's your own fault. You haven't prepared properly. Like, to say you're a championship club, you should prepare better for 3,500 fans. But to run out of alcohol, it really annoys me.
Who said they're a championship club?
Well, that's what they think. That's what they think.
Come on, Danny, they're a Premier League club.
Well,
they were in 1991. Yeah.
20 years and you've won FL.
I was 20 odd years younger than I know.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I shouldn't be drinking whiskey on this podcast, should
I? Callum Gibson, we've got a squad that have pretty much been together for 3 seasons now, barring some big players leaving. So we have a strong core who know each other in and out. And that's one of the key things. You compare yourselves to Sheffield Wednesday are a good team to compare yourself to, or should I say, Sheffield Wednesday should be comparing themselves to us and looking at us and seeing what we're doing and thinking, you know, that's a good idea. If they've got the right man in charge, which they clearly think they have, you've got to have stability, and we are reaping the rewards of stability.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I've seen some Wednesday fans saying, "I wish we had Paul Warne as manager." Yeah, you'd have him for 3 weeks and then you'd sack him. So what's the point? You know, that's why Sunderland are in the state that they're in. That's why Ipswich are in the state that they're in. That's why Wednesday are in the state that they're in. That's why a lot of these clubs who are down there are in the state that they're in. But it's not the man who's in charge of the playing side that's the problem. It's the people behind the scenes who are in charge of the purse strings that are the problem. That are only interested in that short-term success, because that short-term success brings money, brings cash in for them. They're not interested in building a sustainable club to other than just for their own financial gain. So that's why we're lucky. Nobody else is going to give Paul Warne the amount of time he's been given at Rotherham United. But hopefully, when people see what is doable, if you give a manager and the right person the right amount of time, then the sky's the limit.
I mean, it's common. I feel like it happens with every single manager. This is the cycle, right? You get a manager in, we're going to give him time, we're going to do all this, new club, we're going to do everything, right? A year in, and he doesn't do that well. Well, I don't know if he can cut it. Year 2, he does a little bit better, but not all right. We're going to sack him, right? So then there's a little split diagram. You either sack him and you go through the cycle again, or you keep going, right? And then you perform well. And God forbid, I hope this doesn't happen with us, but you do really well, gets to about 10 years in, you start taking it for granted, and you can't start complaining. I mean, you saw it with Wenger at Arsenal, complaining about 4th, sacked him, now they were finishing 15th or whatever. You know what I mean? Now 4th doesn't seem so bad. So I just pray that doesn't happen with us. But yeah, it happens with every manager. Every manager is good when given time and trust, except Mourinho.
Not every manager.
Except
Not every manager.
my days.
Well, most managers.
Are you trying to tell me we should have given Alan Stubbs more time?
Well, listen.
Well,
no.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, God.
I'm ready to leave, Ben. I'm ready.
No. There's obviously exceptions when you got people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
No offense, Alan. I mean, I take full offense, actually.
Philip Rollinson, the sad fact is a small section of our fans wanted worn out because we lost to Fleetwood. I know. Do you remember people kicking off at the Fleetwood game? But as Limguy put sort of counterpoints to that, personally, our fans have been class this season. Got behind the lads, good travelling support, not bad noise at home. For the most part, that is true. It's just the one or two people. John Morell's got a question about the Championship next season. We're not going to answer the Championship questions yet. We're not there yet. YouTube user, can we have a mention about Tutu? He came on when we were 2-0 up, Danny. And he didn't have much impact in the game, but there was one moment where he was defending in the far corner and he just seemed to take 3 strides and was already about 5 foot in front of their player. He's clearly got that little burst, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, definitely. You can definitely see why Warren signed him. And he seems like a winger who can play both wings, which, with Mikel Miller being a little bit sidelined at the minute, is, like I say, is very important. But there was a moment later in the second half where he was battling against one of Wenz's defenders, and it's like one of our players would have gone down, and he just kept going and going and going and going after the ball. And it's like, this lad is serious. He is committed. But it was quite funny because when the substitution was being made, a lot of the fans were like, who is it who's coming on? Is it Miller? Is it Odoffin who's coming on? Then we saw the number 7 go up, and it's like, it's 2-2. Of course it is. But yeah, to say this was his debut for Rotherham, I mean, he didn't really put a foot wrong or do anything exceptional, but he was very steady. And if that's his level of steady, there's a lot more to come from him this season. And I really do think he will be a real asset this season. If we're sort of lacking on that left-hand side, which we were at times when Ferguson was on the pitch, or if we need to bring Chio off for, like an out-of-breath situation, shall we say, it does look like he will be very good cover. And it does look like a smart move from us. And it could even potentially be another loan move in the Championship next season, because he hasn't had a lot of loan time in the Championship because of injuries. And it's come out recently that we might want to sign Grigg on a permanent. Maybe we could get 2-2 on another loan deal next season and see where we go from there. But if this is his first impression in a local derby that isn't a derby, but it technically is a derby because we're really close. But anyway, to say he's done that on his debut, he's done very well, I think. And if he makes that sort of impact against Wigan on Friday or Morecambe next Tuesday or Plymouth next Saturday or whatever, he will be a real asset towards the end of the season. And he's one of them players where it's like, lad, go and do your thing. You know what I mean? You look the business, go and do it. Show us what you can do. And he will push Chio in terms of pace, crossing ability, etc., etc. And yeah, very smart decision in the transfer window. And now we've seen what he's about now that he's come from Arsenal. What else is there to say? Lad, go and do your thing. Show us why you are a Miller. You know what I mean? That's it. Show us why you are a Miller.
Yeah, no, exactly. A couple more topics. We've got about 10, 15 minutes left before we wrap up. Probably we've got a couple more topics to cover. If you haven't already, I'm going to put this in now while people are still with us. If you haven't already subscribed, I know there's loads of people watching tonight. Please subscribe to YouTube. If you listen on the podcast, make sure you subscribe and give us a 5-star rating while you're listening, because then you'll remember. Junad ND has just logged in. What's up, lads? We all look sober. Then it's not.
I am definitely not. I can confirm. With this drink, I can confirm I'm not sober.
Yes, am I the only person who thought Wednesday would never really score? They can't stop laughing. Yeah, it just wasn't their day. And Bazza, Mick, I think this one's aimed at you. Wouldn't think any of the Wednesday players who played today would even make our first team, and not even Banner. Anything you'd like to say? We've got the smugness of probably not playing these for 2 more years, probably. So
here we go.
It's a decent player, isn't it? But he ain't getting in our team. End of. He's not.
So again, sorry, he's got out of mind. So again.
Did I? Well, I'm saying he's a decent player. He's a decent player. There's no question about that. And he's far too good to be playing in League One. But then all 11 of our first team are far too good to be playing in League One, quite frankly, on the day. So, yeah, whatever. I suspect he'll be playing in League One again next season unless he finds another club.
Yeah.
He can warm our bench if he wants. Very good. I see, because we've won, that means that we're not many Wednesday fans listening, which is a sort of a shame. Is it a shame? No, not really. Yeah. Ben, I want to have a quick mention for Shane Ferguson, because I thought me, you and Mick talked about this. I thought in the first half he really, really struggled. He was one of the main players that really struggled in that first half. But I thought, along with Rathbone, he was very, very positive for us in the second half. I'm not saying he was amazing, but he was one of the ones that was very clearly improved upon from the first half.
Yeah, I think in the first half he was very poor. I don't know. Every time it went to that side, it was just like nothing happened. Do you know what I mean? We're losing it every time. I think defensively, obviously, I'm not a football manager, so I don't know what he was asked to do, but he just didn't like he played well. And yeah, he did play better in the second half. He made that clearance, which I haven't watched back, but look, he nearly put it through the stand. Put it through the stand. How much power he got on it. But yeah, he made the second half, and just shows what happens when everyone plays, or not everyone, but when I don't have to explain it, but it just shows what happens when people play well together. That's what I'm trying to say. People play well together, because when one person doesn't play well, it can affect other people. Yeah. And I think him playing well definitely helped everyone else have less responsibility, because they don't have to worry about him as much because he's not playing well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ferguson. I like Ferguson a lot. I think he's very consistent. That's why the first half was a surprise, because he's been Mr. Consistent. He's not all flashy and dancing like Chio is, but he's just consistent. That's why the first half was a little bit of a surprise. I wonder if he's getting overplayed a little bit, Mick, because he's got to. We ain't got anyone else to play with him, and maybe that's where Tutu will help. Ferguson's played a lot of minutes, more than he was probably anticipating at the start of the season. Yeah, quite possibly. I'm not sure how old he is, but he's obviously very experienced. So yeah, he had a bit of a duff first half, didn't he? Let's be fair, but he brought it back around in the second half, and that's going to happen. It's going to happen with players.
you know, of all abilities. I mean, Woody had a bit of a thrash at thin air in that. I think they were in the second half, weren't it? Where he nearly let we nearly ended up conceding because he swung at thin air. So it is what it is. He's a good player. He's a good player, Ferguson. He's a good, solid player. But it's quite clear from the recruitment that we've done that I don't think he's sort of a long-term fix for that position, is he? I think he's just a kind of a stopgap until we get somebody a bit younger.
I don't think he's a 46 game a season man, and that's been proven. We've rotated a lot, but neither is Miller. So it was working until Miller's got a semi-long-term injury.
Yeah.
Big breaking news, big breaking news from Russ Vernon this time. Thank you, Russ. Friday night sold out. Friday night at New York Stadium against Wigan Athletic is a complete sellout.
Come on.
At our end, I think there might be some tickets left for Wigan, I think. But certainly from our point of view, it's a sellout. We will preview that. So we'll be back on Thursday night to preview the Wigan game. One of 15 cup finals left under the lights at New York. It's going to be, should be a really, really good atmosphere. I'm really looking forward to that. Really, really looking forward to that. Let's see. I'm going to talk about Chio. I want some spread some love to Chio Ogbene because I absolutely love him. Honestly, I just love him, Danny. Everything about him today, and it didn't massively impact the game, but he's just a great guy. I love him.
You've said it all. Basically, he's just an amazing person. I mean, there was a moment where, even when he was being pelted with bottles and coins from the Wednesday fans, he still sort of got up and like weirdly smiled at them, which really riled them up. There was a moment where he won a foul and cheered at the fans, which was another thing Lindsay did as well when he absolutely clattered Barry Bannon in the first half. He sort of got up and cheered the fans, and it's like, that is the unit we have created this season. We have created a unit of players where they are fully behind the team, you know. And with Chio, not only did he celebrate with the fans once, he did it 3 times. I don't know what else to say. He seemed really up for this game. A lot of people have said to me he seemed in the zone for this game. It might be because he missed the game last season because of his injury, and he just wanted to like put his mark on it. But I don't know. This game, he seemed different in a good way. He seemed really up for it. He was in for every challenge. He was in for every break forward, and what else can you say? He just seemed really, really up for it. And if that's the Chio we can expect in a derby, and we've seen the Chio we can expect in a sort of a neutral fixture, my days, I hope he signs that contract, because in the Championship he will be a serious force next season. My days. But just to narrow it down into today's game, brilliant performance from Chio. One of his best performances in a Miller shirt. And like, I know he didn't get his assist and he didn't get his goal. He very nearly did. But I don't know. It almost seems like one of them performances where he did everything right, but he didn't get like the tick on the paper. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he didn't get the assist or the goal, but everything else was spot on. And it's just hard not to like Chio. If you don't like Chio, there's something up with you. You know what I mean? Like, correct. What a guy. You know, what a guy. Get him on the podcast. We need to talk to him. What a guy.
Come and talk to us, Chio. Chio, come and talk to us. Liam McGarry, Chio's passion is unbelievable. Kept winding the Wednesday fans up. What a player.
Yes, he did. And what a guy.
The little thing he does at the end now is, I cringe when other fans do it. When it's Chio, it's just somehow likeable. I don't know. I like it. Can someone ask for Chio's autograph and hide a 3-year contract underneath it? It's a great idea. I like it a lot. Russ back with us. Wigan have also sold out, and that's around 2,000, which is less. We normally can give up to 2,600, can't we? Apparently we're going to give 2,000.
I think that's the Don Street restriction that's come into it. I think we've restricted away fans because of that.
Fair enough. Let's talk about another warrior that we have, Ben. We have Callum Gibson. Woody is a machine, even with a busted nose. Wanted to stay on for the corner. An absolutely true warrior. Sky gave him man of the match. And as they pointed out in commentary, Ben, when you watch Richard Wood in the person live, you can see how good he actually is. His organisation, the stuff he does away from the ball. I cannot give enough love. As much as I love Chio, I cannot give enough love to Richard Wood. He is a legend of the club and a legend of the EFL as well for me.
Yeah, well, he's a legend for many reasons, but obviously that time at Wembley will never be forgotten. But he's his non-football skills is what makes him so good, in my opinion. I think he's such a leader. Like even when he was coming having a go at fans and that, not really having a go, but you know what I mean. Right, no one else would do that. You know what I mean? It kind of just sets the tone for the team. It just kind of sets an example. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I'm going to show you how to do it, not tell you how to do it, type of thing. So, and I think I don't think we'd be where we are without him. In the league, I think he's a massive influence on Ike and we've got young keepers as well. So I'm sure he's a massive influence on them. He's just the perfect, what's it called? If you could design a footballer and his like off the field skills, you design that type of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's amazing. Can't give enough love to him.
Yeah. Mick, anything to add on Richard Wood?
No. He's just a star, isn't he? He's just an absolute star, and I think like Brian Vernon's pointed out in the comments, I think he's got very, very much got the potential to be manager, hopefully, and hopefully with us should Warney decide he's had enough. So yeah, he's exceptional. He's Richard Wood.
Yeah, it's inspirational, isn't it? He's just brilliant.
Yeah.
We should all aspire to be Richard Wood. I think that's what we should do. Brilliant. Powerman UK, did you see the inflatable pigs in the stand? Danny, were they from you?
Yes, they were. Yes, we have to thank Donna and Nevaeh for them, and Tani RUFC as well. Because when we were on the coach travelling down, I mean, I'm not in quite a fit state now, but travelling down to Hillsborough, I was running the bus. And we had inflatable pigs in everyone's bags. You know, there was the little ones that Donna had bought off Amazon. There was the bigger ones with like the proper sealable like caps to make them stay inflated, which ended up being beheaded on the side of the pitch, which was quite funny. But yes, they all came from us. We are taking full credit from that. And to see them all flying about the away end, it was so funny. When the vlog goes up tomorrow, you will see a few flying about. And also that the steward and the guy on the Sky camera was also a Miller, because they kept throwing his back to him as well. They were our doing, and I think it did rattle a few Wednesday fans as well. So objective completed.
Love it. I'm gonna play Russ's commentary again for the goals, just because I want to hear it, and then we're gonna come back and wrap up. So enjoy this.
So with the corner, and the Dapper was scored. Freddie the Dapper was scored for Rotherham United. And the league leaders lead at Hillsborough. The Dapper has put the Millers into the lead at Hillsborough. Second star since he handed in the transfer request, and he has scored the goal for the Millers today. Again, Rotherham United still leading by a goal as soon as the ball comes in. There's a penalty. Victory Equa. Smith! Michael Smith has made it 2-0 for Rotherham United. Oh my word, what a fantastic goal from Michael Smith. Michael Equa with the touch from the free kick. And he fires it home.
There we go. That picture's great, isn't it?
That is a
that
fantastic picture. There's a picture of a man who doesn't really actually want to leave our football club, looking at Freddie Ladapo's face in that.
Yeah,
Now,
good point.
there might be more to that transfer request than meets the eye.
Possibly.
But even so.
Hopefully.
Even so.
So we're going to end it there because we've got an hour and 10 minutes. What I will say, we've got a lot of people asking us a lot of different things. So what I'm going to ask you to do is email across, because when we preview the Wigan game, we will have much more time to talk about all these other little bits, which I want to talk about Georgie Kelly, Paul Warren, just in general. There's a lot to cover. So what I would say is, if anybody wants us to talk about anything specific, email rufcpod@gmail.com, and we will find a way of working in more of these. Because when we only have a preview to do, we do find ourselves with a bit more time. Because we've run out of time, to be honest with you. we could probably stay in for another hour, but we're not going to. So there we are. We're going to finish it there. I hope you've enjoyed your Sunday altogether. I hope we've added to that as well. If you're listening on Valentine's Day, I hope you're having a lovely Valentine's Day. That's our plug. We will be back, as I mentioned, on Thursday, which will be the day before. We're back live Thursday on YouTube, but Friday morning, obviously, for the podcast. And you can listen to that as we build up to one of the biggest games of the season, probably the biggest game of the season on Friday night. I'm really looking forward to that. Danny, I don't envy your hangover tomorrow.
No, neither do I. Bear in mind, Mum's put Bucks Fizz in the fridge. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Hope the vlog will be up tomorrow or very late Tuesday.
It'll be up tomorrow. Trust me, it'll be up tomorrow.
Yeah. Cool. Benjamin, you're leaving us now. We're all leaving now. You are going to watch the Super Bowl. Super Bowl!
Yeah.
Egg ball.
Did you sort out your snacks?
Just whatever. No, whatever is in house, to be fair. Spur of the moment thing. I don't want to make a big deal of it because I'm not American. No offense to anyone that does, but it's an American football game. Do you know what I mean?
Who's going to win, Ben? What's your tip? What's your tip for the Super Bowl tonight? Then?
Well, anyone that's going to put bets on, go Rams. Rams are going to win.
Okay. Yeah, you're confident.
Anybody just audio listening, you won't be able to put a bet on.
It won't because it's already happened. If you can,
but if you've got a time machine. Go back and put the Rams on because they're going to win.
Yes, but I'm sure everyone's got a DeLorean spare, But
yeah, but if they've got a time machine, they won't need to listen to you. They'll have just know the result.
That's very true. It was. I'm not. I don't know if you missed it, but it was a joke. I don't know if you realise that. I wasn't being dead serious.
So is that Sports Almanac still in issue from Back to the Future? That's my question.
I don't think so. Brilliant. Ben, I hope you enjoy the Super Bowl. I don't think you'll probably not be with us Thursday, will you?
No, I'm back in London. I've got training Thursday, Friday.
Rubbish. You're going to miss his cup final, Ben. Disappointing.
Have you seen what the actual official IFC put on Instagram?
No.
They put a picture of Smith and one cup final down, 15 more to go. Something like that.
Yeah. And Michael, you have not had really much to rant today, so that's been a pleasure.
I'll think of something over the next couple of days, and come Thursday, I'll find something to moan about. I'll moan plenty between now and then, so you know what I mean. It's just what I do, and you get to my age, mate. There's not else to do in life other than just moan about everything.
I'm 32 and I second that.
We will ask you back Thursday. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. We're on 488 subscribers, and I want to get to 500. If we get to 500 before the Wigan game, that'd be amazing. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. And as Mick says, tell your friends, tell your family, and if they don't like Rob, just go onto their iPad or whatever and just subscribe to theirs as well. So we get the numbers. And again, if you listen to iTunes, Spotify, make sure you subscribe and follow us. And if you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, or if you can on Spotify, sometimes it does let you, please do that as well. That would be amazing. Like I said, I hope we've added to your Sunday afternoon of joy. I've enjoyed reliving it. I've got it saved on Sky, so I might even go watch it again. I'm sure my wife will love that. But thank you all. Thank you very much. And we'll see you all next time. Cheers, guys.
Wednesday get battered everywhere they go. Wednesday get battered everywhere they go. You can
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie's turning shoot. Container shot. Apologies to the neighbours.